Alright, it's part 2 of episode 24, and we're doing Mysterious Girlfriend X.
This has
So,
got to be one of the weirdest things I have ever seen.
yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
weird.
the general idea is guy and a girlfriend. They share experiences by sharing spit, literally.
Girl
not
basically the
figuratively.
most powerful substance in the world.
Basically, okay, the premise of this is a little hard to get behind, but basically it implies that spit carries your emotions, which is
It's
kind of hard to,
I will
Past.
say there's some stuff we can get into later, but on the logistics of everything, because like there's also the whole part where like she gets like I'm getting ahead of myself still. There's like a whole part where she like gets a cut and then somebody tastes her spit and then she has the cut. So there's some weird laws in this universe or something going on.
See, one thing that I both hate and love about this is that it's not implied to be magic. It's just
How it is.
when you're in love, spit is weird.
So I guess I'll get into this. I don't know if I should get into this early.
Just go.
I think it's implied that she might be an extraterrestrial.
I did think about that, because there's all the alien stuff, and she has...
But also they don't go anywhere with it, so like it's vaguely implied. Like I don't want to say that she is or not.
I'm more willing to believe that she's not. I don't like it if she is. I like the story a lot better if they're just weird people.
Like, I was thinking, like, it's probably just she likes alien stuff.
Yeah, because she has like an alien keychain, and there's also tons of posters throughout the whole show that are sci-fi.
She has the mechanical pencil, where it's a UFO.
Yeah, and also a little keychain on her purse.
Okay, so I guess we go a little bit episode by episode. The first episode, we've all watched together, and we all expressed that it's very intriguing.
Yes.
This guy decides. Okay.
There's a new transfer student shows up.
Let's get this out of the way. The main character has a spit fetish, and that's it. He does.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he tastes the anime girl spit, and he tastes
such
the
a bizarre
forbidden
show to talk about.
The forbidden snack, and he falls deathly ill because it's forbidden. No, and she throws herself into his room and it's like, no, nothing's wrong with either of us. You're just in love with me. And he's like, I can't deny that. So they exchange spit.
You're not wrong.
Not in the normal way.
They put their spit on the finger and then they put each other's finger in their mouths.
Okay, first, spit is addictive, which they don't bring up ever again.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they just start doing that every day.
Yes, literally every day. They meet up. No matter what the situation is, they meet up and specifically the girl Urabe gives the guy Tsubaki the spit.
Yes.
It's like their thing. They do every day.
Which lets them befriend each other and start dating.
Mm-hmm. Later on, they establish like minor rules where that if you taste somebody else's spit, or at least if Urabe does, or if somebody tastes Urabe spit, you get to understand their emotions in that moment.
Well, no, okay. So one of the first things that happens is that a guy asks Urabe out, and she's like, I'm not going to refuse yet. Let me taste your spit. And if it tastes like anything, then we can be in a relationship. And it doesn't.
Oh, there's the other guy?
Yeah, somebody else asked her out after she started dating.
Yeah, Ogata. I have just the note. Rest in peace, Ogata, we hardly knew ye. He just shows up and then he just gets, like, he's pretty much just gone very quickly. He lasts one episode, at best.
Yeah. I have so many notes. There's just too much.
This show is weird.
Like, okay, the main character Tsubaki, who I really liked through the first I guess half the show. He's really reasonable. He constantly just talks things out with people, and in one of the episodes, he gets a test tube with spit in it,
Yeah.
and he treats it like it's like porn. He tells his sister, not his mom, which I had to correct myself many times. He tells his sister, who he lives with, don't come to my room. And he locks his door and shuts himself in just to drink the spit.
Yep.
And the sister is just like, oh well, I guess he's about at that age.
Yeah.
Again, like, there's 12 episodes of the show, or 13 episodes of the show, and it does this the whole time. It's stuff like this the whole time, but, like, even looking back, I'm like, this show is weird.
I think, in general, I would describe the show as, like, this sounds kind of wrong. Most people don't use it in this sense, but a very non-traditional relationship, a very unconventional relationship.
Yeah.
They express their emotions in very strange ways. Tsubaki is always the traditional, like, we gotta talk out our feelings. But Urabe is always like, I'm gonna show my feelings to you in some abstract, like,
Spit.
not passive aggressive, but very like, I'm going to give you a sign, and if you know what I mean, then we're meant for each other, you know?
Yeah.
And he generally does. Like, that's
And
the thing
yeah,
that's like clear
generally
throughout
they-
is they care about each other and like each other.
That's one of the things I really
No will
like
they, won't
about the
they
show.
to it.
Is that it's a very, very weird relationship that's not portrayed as like
Bad.
quirky and
Yeah.
ideal. They're not like, oh, we're going to be random together. It's more like they're just freaking weird people and they love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I just can't get over how weird this show is.
And then you get
the
the
first time
second.
Urabe pulls out the scissors in episode 2.
Yeah, Urabe has like weird scissor powers, but not powers. I think she's just like Revolver Ocelot with scissors. She's just good at scissor.
I just love it. It's so cool. Like the drums start kicking in really fast, and it's like, oh.
And then she'll cut something up like a badass for some reason with scissors that she keeps in her underwear.
And it's like an instinct for her.
Yeah.
Whenever Tsubaki tries to hug her, she pulls out her scissors and like throws.
And he always like blocks it with something he has on him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, ask permission when you to go to hug your GF, or she will attack you.
That was the part that I was very confused about, because at first I was like, oh my god, was she abused or something? But she wasn't. She's on very good terms with her family.
Her family that we never see.
What? I'm sorry.
Her family that we never see.
Yeah, she talks about them quite a bit.
Yeah, she mentions them
never,
like a bit in like the later episodes, but we don't actually meet them.
That's almost something I like about the show too. They're very unclear about the family situation.
Yeah, the show is literally called Mysterious Girlfriend, and it is never explained. So it's constantly mysterious.
Yeah.
I remember in the third episode, I was like, does no one see them doing this weird stuff in public? Like, but
well,
then no.
Somebody sees them.
I thought somebody was going to see them and it was going to get weird, but no, somebody sees them and they're like, oh, that's normal. Or it's not normal, but they're like, oh, they're cool.
No, Oka sees it and is like, oh, they're just dating.
Yeah.
Because, right, that's a normal thing you do when you're dating a girl. And Oka, okay, this is like my headcanon. This is my extrapolation. Oka is a freak.
Probably.
She's wild.
Well, there's the one episode where she's talking about like her boyfriend was sick, and she's like, "What can I do to make you feel better?" And he's like, "I want to see you in a swimsuit," and she fucking does.
In the winter.
And then she straddles him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you not
and
want
like
that?
No hesitation. She's like, yeah, that's an easy thing to do.
No, would you not want that?
She's very strange, but I appreciate her.
Yeah.
I think she's probably my favorite character in the show.
And then you get like there's just a period where she just starts like learning stuff from Urabe, and she starts applying it to her relationship with Ueno.
Well, there's a whole scene. I don't remember what episode it is, but she learns about the scissors thing, or she sees the scissors thing, and she tries to do it to her boyfriend, and it does not go well.
She really wants to copy it.
Yeah,
but she can't.
And then Ueno's just like, now I have all this gauze, and I have nothing to do with it.
The show's
There's a couple things. There's a couple things that I didn't like about the show. They do this constant thing where the classmates are just the worst people ever, and no one tries to stop them.
Yeah,
like such as the scene where the part where they're like trying to sell off pictures of Urabe when she has her hair done.
I was screaming at my screen when that was happening.
God,
they took these open voyeur pictures without permission of Urabe with her hair all done up, and they were selling them to the other dudes in the class. They were like, "Yeah, she looks so cute." And flippin' Tsubaki was just letting it happen.
But he's like, well, no, he can't because he doesn't want to reveal to everybody, oh, she's my girlfriend, because
trying to be a reasonable person to your classmate does not immediately imply that you're dating her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's like, he is pissed on the inside.
That made me mad. And there's a part of the beginning where they're raiding girls, which is already terrible.
Mm-hmm. And then there's like the one where
school, you know better than that.
They're peeking on girls at the track meet.
Or when
that was almost okay because they were just trying to get at first they were just trying to get the dude to see his girlfriend. I guess they didn't know that, did they?
Yeah.
I justified that in my head, but now I realize that's also bad.
Yeah.
That one was also weird. Like, you'd think the dude would have noticed that everyone was missing.
Yeah. What else is there?
There's a lot more. No.
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot, yeah.
He has these recurring dreams of him with Urabe.
In
that
the
are just
weird
them in a strange city. And they do things that, like, relate to what's going on in his life. Like, when he first meets her, he sees them dancing together, and for a couple episodes, that's all it is. But then they, like, get an episode where he... What? I'm sorry, you cut out.
There's the one where she's naked, and he's just like, oh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's just on his mind for, like, the whole episode.
Yeah. But there was one that I thought was really wholesome, where it's just him taking an old camera and just taking a picture of her. I was like, wow, that's really sweet.
Just taking a picture of her.
Oh yeah, there's a little funny moment in that one.
Do it in real life. He tries to do it in real life, but then she's just like, no, you can't take a picture of me. I'm like, come on, dude.
She's like, no, you can't take a picture of me because I don't want to, like, fake a smile. And so he's left there in the middle of the road, and there's, like, a really, like, out of nowhere kind of funny moment where he's standing in the middle of the road, and a car comes up behind him and honks.
Yeah.
And it just honks.
I forgot about that.
It's, like, really weird. It's really funny, though.
There's the beach episode.
It's really well timed. It's really slow and weird.
Yeah.
Beach episode.
Of course, there's a beach episode.
There's a beach episode that is very tame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though we do get to see a good tan Urabe, who looks great.
Yes, tan Urabe.
Oh, yeah, there's a plot point that she had tan lines in the shape of scissors.
She had tan lines with the scissors.
Which is terrible for the scissors.
And she also kind of flashes flipping Tsubaki with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This like weird thing with this show is, like, I think the idea is that they're just in a relationship and they're constantly learning more about each other and about what is okay in a relationship. And it's just weird to see that. I don't know, or at least for me.
From what I can tell, I think the point of the show is that Tsubaki is just an average dude. He just wants to have a good time with his girlfriend. He's nice. He's usually pretty
Yeah,
pretty
Tsubaki
well
like
He's
spoken.
usually
in that.
reasonable.
generally. He's like afraid to like
He's
initiate
really
things.
he's really surprisingly logical in that when he's worried about something in their relationship, he confronts her about it. He's just like, "Yeah, I saw you with another guy, and I was really worried. It was really making me upset." And he's like super reasonable. Like it's really nice to see that. Usually in these kinds of shows, you get these ridiculous misunderstandings that just pile
yeah.
up.
Where it's like,
When
oh,
they
I saw her with
involve-
another guy. I got to go investigate on my own and never ask her about it. Stuff like
Right?
that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which happens later, and we'll get to that. But in the beginning, it's really sweet, and you get Urabe, who, from what I understand, I read a little bit up on the manga. Apparently, she's just a girl who really hates traditional relationships. You get that in the first episode where she's like, "In order to ask me out, you have to do something that no one else could do," which is a little bit picky, but
Yeah.
it's
But it
admirable that
worked out.
she wants a new relationship,
She
something
wants
she
something
wouldn't see
unique
in the
to
media,
her
something
and whoever she's with.
right. And that's really sweet. It's making a lot of intimacy.
That's actually a thing I learned about in one of my like com classes, where it's like with relationship dynamics, there's like a scale of like how like unique do you want to be, or do you want to be just like other couples? That is like
Mhm.
a thing.
That's really interesting. And I think this is a very extreme expression of that. Like,
Yeah.
the main thing I read about the manga is that they never kiss each other because Urabe really wants their first kiss to be like, absolutely special, like reserving it for this moment. And I think that's fine. I think they share a lot of moments in this series that are just as intimate as a kiss
Yeah,
would
you
be.
don't. I'm like, I guess if we want to really skip hard to the end, it ends with them having like a sincere emotional moment with each other instead of like I was expecting it to build up to, okay, like in episode 12 they get a actual first hug, and I was like, okay, so next kiss.
But they have a really sincere moment, and it's a very unique one too.
Yeah.
We'll get to episode 13. I want to get to the stuff before that, but episode 13 is amazing. But anyway, there's a lot of meandering in the first 8 episodes.
Yeah, it's like each episode is just like those are just like
it's just another like segment. Pretty much.
It's very slice of life at that point.
It's basically just them learning new things about each other. It's not quite slice of life because there is progression. They learn things about each other. Different things happen. They learn new things about the spit mechanics.
Yeah.
There's progression with Oka and the friend who I don't remember the name of.
Who I know.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, and there's also I think at one point they introduced that sweat also is a thing.
I'd say the only thing in the first, I think, 7 episodes, the only thing I had a problem with is Urabe constantly rejecting affection.
Yeah, and
the hug thing got really annoying.
Yeah.
I was like, come on.
It's just a
Tsubaki
hug.
deserves no
Let the man have his hug.
In the first 7 episodes, Tsubaki has been nothing but a kind, and I use this term seriously, gentleman. He's been very, very good to her. But then episode 8, boy.
What happens in that one? That's the one where it starts off with the dream sequence.
The titty.
Where he grabs the boob.
Yeah.
Which
and you can't
is a
stop thinking about the boob.
totally normal high school dream to have.
Yeah.
And then Urabe's just like, yeah, you can touch my actual boob. That's fine.
And then when he's actually confronted with this, he's having second thoughts, and then she's like, do it before I change my mind. And then he gets carried away.
And he feels legitimately bad about it. He's like, oh no, I fucked up. And then you're like, he's like, I'm going to leave now. I can't bear to like stick around right now.
I think I don't know. Tsubaki started to sour a little bit for me there. I was like, does that really? Do you really gotta do that, man? Do you gotta push her down? Do you gotta lick her ear?
Well, again, as I said, like right after that, he's like, "Oh, I did a bad thing."
He backpedals a lot, and Urabe's pretty nice about it, all things considered. She could have lost a lot more than she does, but I don't know. I'm glad he felt so bad about it. Like, I think he makes her hit him, which I was like, yeah, you kind of deserve being hit. I think that's deserved.
Yeah, he
but then
was straight up asking, like, "Please hit me. I deserve it. I did a bad thing."
But then in episode 10, we can skip 9. I have nothing. Okay, in 9,
she just changes her hair. It's kind of like just one of the ones before episode 8.
And there's like the idol and stuff.
Oh yeah, the idol thing. Yeah, that was the next thing.
Just a brunette doppelganger.
He buys this picture set, which is like, come on, it's clearly fetish, of an idol who looks similar in facial expression to Urabe, and he's like, I don't see why she would have a problem with this. Come on,
dude.
But okay.
Well, no, because I mean, like in the earlier in the episode, it's like kind of established that Tsubaki's a bit possessive of her, and he does have a moment like when the pictures are being sold, where he's like, "Oh shit, I'm really possessive, aren't I?" And then at the end of that episode, it's, "Oh no, Urabe is also very possessive of him," so it's just kind of going both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but there's a distinct difference between the two scenarios. Like, basically how I view it is, in the first part where Tsubaki is seeing his classmates distribute pictures of Urabe, that's like voyeur crap.
That's like problematic.
Yeah.
It's like illegal. It really, I think it is. Taking pictures of someone without their permission, making money.
Yeah. At least in America it is.
And it should be in Japan.
Yeah.
Actually, I think in Japan they made it mandatory for all of a certain. I think it was just phone phones. They had to make a noise when you took pictures, so that they couldn't take sneaky pictures.
Yeah.
But actually, well, we'll get to that later. I'm curious what you guys think about the time period of the show, but let's not get into that now. So, and then in the second half of the episode, you get. Okay, imagine if your significant other was looking at the Facebook profile of a celebrity who looked like you and would specifically look at that, like, obsessively. Wouldn't that freak you out more than a little bit?
Yeah. Not too much. I don't care.
I think it's more of a jealousy thing than a possessiveness thing. It's like...
Yeah.
It's like you're crushing on someone else while you're still in a relationship. Even if they look similar, that's not reason enough, you know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's the most unreasonable thing, but I can see how people would have problems with it.
Okay, considering that they're high schoolers, I kind of understand, but I understand her reaction a lot more.
Okay, yeah.
But then episode 10, we just... Tsubaki loses all credibility, and everyone becomes awful except Urabe, because Urabe did nothing wrong.
I thought episode 10 and 11 were gonna go very different than they did, though.
Well, no, the way I see with those is like Tsubaki's basically tricked into it. Like, Hayakawa is being like, she's like the villain basically. She's like she's playing homewrecker.
Okay, let me ask a serious question. At what point could Tsubaki not tell her that he had a girlfriend?
He does. He doesn't. He does tell her.
He doesn't tell her he has a girlfriend.
She assumes so.
No, he does when they're in the park and they're talking. He's like, "Yeah, I do."
No, he doesn't. Yeah. I wrote down. You can tell her you have a girlfriend.
He does. He does.
He visits Urabe at one point.
95% certain he doesn't.
I'm pretty sure he does.
I wrote down consistent notes, and I was definitely paying attention because
he does. Yeah, when they're on the park bench, he does.
And then she confronts Urabe, and then she tricks them into both going to the festival.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't.
You're wrong.
I'm still.
Do we need to pause the episode?
I'm pretty certain that he doesn't.
You know what? We're pausing this episode.
Okay.
I'm gonna do work on myself because I need to find out because this makes because I understand the point you're trying to make. If he doesn't, so I need to. We're gonna pause this episode real quick and fact check something. all right, we're back. We rewatched the scene. He does mention the fact that he does have a girlfriend. She asks him if he knew, or shit, getting it wrong already.
Okay,
I was right.
I am horrible admitting that I am
Told
wrong,
you
so
so.
let it be said, for the record, Connor is wrong.
Yeah, she's gonna. So the girl that he had a crush on in high school or in middle school, he asks her for her spit, and at the last second he backs out, and she's like, "What?" And then he's like, "I have a girlfriend," or something like that.
Which no one questions.
Yeah,
No one questions his spit fetish. Everyone seems all right with it.
good to know.
Okay, there's many levels. There's many levels to why I hate this arc in episodes 10 and 11. First of all, Tsubaki never tells Urabe about any of it, which is horrible. That's just lying. Second of all, Hayakawa's lying about it. She paints a fake bruise on her.
Mm-hmm.
Again, she's basically the villain of the arc.
And she's literally like a villain. She's literally faking.
Yeah, so
she's faking domestic abuse.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna hate these 2 episodes more than I did. I still don't think the show needed a villain, per se.
Yeah, no, I wasn't.
But they didn't go they didn't go the route that I originally thought they were going to go with the 2 episodes, so it was slightly better than what I expected originally. I thought he was originally, with the title, I thought he was originally just going to have an affair with her, which I was going to be very, against. You know?
Yeah, that is true. The episode is, titled, in some translations, it's Mysterious Affair.
Yeah, that's what it says on Crunchyroll.
My main problem with it is that it makes Tsubaki lose a lot of the credibility for being an open person. If he just said, my old friend from high school or middle school is being stalked by a domestic abuser, because that's what he believes. He thinks that's true. Urabe will be fine with it. Urabe's a reasonable person.
Yeah, I take it as stupidity that he didn't say that.
A bit jealous, and he doesn't want to run the risk of messing up his relationship with Urabe by telling her.
Okay, but literally anything would be a better option than not telling her and going through with it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I don't think what he did was a good idea, but I'm gonna take it as stupidity. Or foolishness. I don't want to say that he meant anything bad by it.
Okay, but my point is, it completely contradicts what we've seen of the character so far.
Yeah.
He's been shown to be this incredibly reasonable person who talks things out.
Yeah, they're usually very honest with each other about everything.
And then immediately, he turns around when he sees another cute girl. It's really problematic for the future of their relationship.
I will say they do set it up, though, and they do say that, he used to be madly in love with this person for years, so I kind of get it, but I don't think it's okay over it all. But
I had middle school crushes too, and I didn't care about those girls when I was in high school.
I mean, I don't know, I can't relate either, but the way they set it up, it makes a little bit of sense, because they do mention this character existing beforehand.
And she does appear earlier before she cuts her hair.
In the first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, the picture gets cut up in the first episode, and she appears more towards the middle.
I think there's a little minor arc where he meets her again at one point.
Yeah, she appears in episode 5 or 4.
And then she returns in 10.
But I think my problem with the 2 episode thing is I don't think the show needed a villain, and it caused them to kind of do something out of character because it just doesn't work with the show. I don't know.
It just, a lot of the merits I give to the story of this anime is that Tsubaki's a really good person in the beginning, and 10 and 11 really make me turn around on that. They make me show he's not completely a good person. Maybe some of that was just an accident, some of his kindness.
I don't know, because sometimes good people do bad things.
They are being set up, sort of, and it is kind of resolved, basically, at the end of that arc.
It's resolved for dumb reasons, though.
It is resolved in a really dumb way.
Yeah.
But enjoyably dumb, I don't know. had
Okay.
fun while it was going on, at least.
We can ignore the fact that they, get naked and but after that, this is the worst part for me. So, have you heard of a little show called To Love Room?
I've heard of it, but I still don't know anything
You
about it.
mention it a lot.
So let me explain to you a setup for a scene in To Love Room. Main character does nothing wrong. Main character accidentally, not intentionally, he does not know this is going to happen, sees a female character naked. Main character gets severely punished for this, even though it was not his. What does this remind you of?
Yeah.
At the end of
Tsubaki's
episode
blindfold
11,
accidentally falls off, and he gets KO'd with a double slap.
at the end of episode 11, they flippin' knock him out because of something completely out of his control.
Yeah.
Which was terrible. So yeah, episode 10 and 11 really sour me on all of it.
I didn't mind it as much. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think with the whole that whole ending with it, I think it was because it was comical. It was kind of whatever. I can see what your feelings on it though. I understand. So yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I have some really. I was really angry when I was watching this. This was a note when Hayakawa was presenting the plan to Tsubaki and he was accepting. I wrote all caps. Not gonna run it past Urabe, huh? Crappy kids, you deserve each other. I bet the X is fake. Which he wasn't, by the way. The abuse was fake, but the X was not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here's another note from episode 11. My anger has not subsided. This is beyond dumb teen crap. It's downright infidelity, and if Urabe just hand waves it like I trust you, I'm gonna be angry. He deserves real repercussions. Yeah, and another bad part that I felt was that Tsubaki kind of had no obligation to stick around at the school festival. Because if Hayakawa was actually being stalked, they probably would have noticed to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it'd be really unlikely for her to be stalked in such a public area with so many people around to witness it.
I'm not an expert on stalking, so.
Well, it's at her school. People would notice she was being abused.
I don't want to make any claims on that, so touchy subject. I don't know.
Yeah.
Then episode 12 kind of happens.
I have a very interesting note for my first one. For some reason, my first note for episode 12 is, "Oi, Oka, that's very illegal," and I don't know what that was referring to.
The nude picture she took.
Yeah, that was it. Oh my god.
I did mention that that Oka
deletes it.
She has a lot of balls to mess with Urabe too.
Oka
She's the only person that's not scared of her.
Oka is terrifying. She's scarier than Urabe, honestly.
And she embarrasses Urabe. Urabe's blushing and stuff, and it's that's really surprising to see. And it makes sense that of course Oka's the only one who can get that out of her.
I did notice that there's a part where Urabe in this episode wants to get hit the spit from the guy from Tsubaki, and she does the trick that Oka pulls on her way earlier, where she points off. She's like, "What's that?" And then
finger in the mouth.
Yeah.
Which okay, first I gotta say, no one has that much spit in their mouth at any given time.
I'm not an expert on spit.
It's anime. Shut up.
Put your finger in your mouth and see how much spit comes out. It's not enough to drip.
Oh yeah, true.
It's anime. It's not real, Connor.
Well, no, they're more consistent with it. Whenever Urabe does it, she takes a second, builds it up, because that's what you have to do.
I wasn't paying too close. I don't know the spit facts.
Urabe cuts Tsubaki because her knife game is off point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like
Their
the
aim
Ocelot's
goes
game
very
is
gets
off.
bad, and then you get like the moment of Urabe has done a bad thing and she feels bad about it.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
Then like Tsubaki
It
Oh yeah,
immediately
Tsubaki
brings back-
fucking
oh
decks
no, I don't
himself
want
trying to not
fall
land.
and land on her, and then instead it takes bed frame straight to the
Oh
forehead,
god.
right on his wound.
when I watched this episode, I viewed it as karma for the last episode. But now looking back, I think it was a very interesting episode of, I don't know, just them being good to each other, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Urabe initiates the nice hug, just hugging Tsubaki into her chest. And then Ueno's like, no, I don't want to get rid of this gauze because you put it on me and I trust you and I love you and all that.
Even though it's a very bad idea, please replace your
Yes.
bandages. They
Yeah,
get dirty.
yeah.
He said it to him multiple times, hey man, you gotta change that out. And he's like, no. And then they finally get the hug and it's like, yay.
And then episode 13, oh my god. Way
Yeah,
better
episode
than anything else in the show so far.
You find out why the mom hasn't been around this whole time. It's because she's dead.
So
Yes.
they do this really, really nice thing where for most of the series they set up, oh, he's living with his sister. Oh, where's his dad? What's
Where
up?
is
Where
Parents?
is his dad the whole show? I never realized that.
He never appears. He just doesn't show up until episode 13.
He appears in
Yeah.
the last episode.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that was
I
my
think-
question. So there's no reasoning that
believe
it's just
I
not
guess
throughout
it's
the whole
just
rest
we
of the show.
didn't see him, and that's
I
it.
believe the sister says he works a lot and can't cook, so
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
that's it. But I think he lives with them.
All right.
But you get these really, really touching, slow, emotional scenes of Urabe being really interested in Tsubaki's home life
Mhm.
and being really considerate. And she asks, she's like, "Hey, can I go visit your mom's grave?" And I was like, I got emotional. I'm like, "Oh my god, that's so nice. That's insanely nice." And Tsubaki's just like, "Why would you want to do that?" Because it's so normalized in his head. You know, that's just like, I didn't know
Because
my mom,
as he
so
does mention, he was very young when she died, so he's just sort of, he's like, that's just how it's always been to him.
Yeah, and then they just go and visit the grave, and I almost cried.
Oh
I
yeah,
got
no,
teary-eyed. It
I was getting teary-eyed too. Where it's just really heartfelt and nice.
It's just this great scene of, it tells you everything you need to know about these characters' relationships, that they might show it in the weirdest ways. They might have a lifestyle some other people might view as dysfunctional, but they really do care about each other. They really do care about, staying with each other too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like the whole time,
Yeah,
as I said, I was expecting, they're gonna end on first kiss, because that's what I was expecting after
But they
the
don't.
hug. But then no, it's something way better.
They exchange spit on their mom's grave. They mention how weird it is. I will say that.
No, yeah, Shubaki's like, that was kind of inappropriate, and then she's like, nah, don't worry, later we're gonna be doing even more inappropriate stuff.
I love that. That's a great
Urabe
line.
is also very perverted.
But yeah, it's strangely ends up being very wholesome moment.
Yes.
Like, I don't know how you can say that or explain it other than watching the show, but like, you watch it, like if you showed somebody that scene, you're like, oh, this show is weird and depraved, but like you see all the events leading up to it, and you're like, oh, okay, that's nice actually.
Basically, okay. If anyone listening to this has not watched the show, do you understand anything we're talking about?
No. We sound like lunatics.
There's intimate ear licking. There's lots
Girl
of spit swapping.
and sweat is the most powerful substances in the universe.
There's a scene where Tsubaki ogles his older sister's spit puddle.
Oh yeah, he does. No, yeah, I have a note on that.
And it's really weird because a lot of these sentences that we're saying sounds like there's something from an ecchi or something like that, but it's not. It just isn't. It's weird.
Yeah,
no, there's
just Tsubaki, don't taste your older sister's drool, you fucking weirdo. Just
despite a lot
looking
of
at
the
it,
things
it's
we're
like, no.
saying, despite a lot of the things we're saying, this is a surprisingly realistic representation of a high school relationship. It's really awkward. They're really sometimes really bad at expressing how they feel about each other.
They're
Mhm.
learning about
There's
what's
a lot
okay.
of really real concerns, like,
There's no
am I being too possessive?
Yeah, there's no like dumb romance anime cliches, or at least not very many.
Yeah, for 90% of it, it's very just real, which you wouldn't think from a show like this. You wouldn't think you'd get a real romance.
It's bizarre. So yeah.
And I generally like it. I have more things to say.
Keep
One of the
going.
neat ways they do characterization in this show is by showing the rooms.
Oh
I was
yeah,
really
no.
surprised to find these really detailed rooms for each of the characters. I
Like
think
simply off the bat, you
we
just
see
have
Ueno's,
Tsubaki's room.
we see Hayakawa's. Do we see Hayakawa's? Or am I thinking
Yeah, we
something
do.
else?
But like, there's one episode where it's like we're in Tsubaki's room, and it's like we see like the same few angles every time, but there's like one episode where we see a different wall that we haven't seen before, and it has like its own posters and stuff.
Mm-hmm. There's a
But,
lot
like,
of posters in his room.
Yeah, it's mostly like posters and whatever like
2001: A
around.
Space Odyssey with an E.
Yeah.
Also just Big O.
Yeah, and that's another thing. That's some really good characterization. But another thing, I have no idea what time period this is set in.
Non-specific present-ish day.
It could take place at any time in which people have cameras, and that's the minimum requirement of technology.
Wait, I'm sorry, you cut out a little bit. What did you
The minimum requirement of time period is whenever they like had cameras as a regular thing that anybody could have.
I'd say just like
well, also landlines.
2000s,
Oh, yeah, landline.
2010s.
Yeah,
Like
but I think
2000s to
I
now.
think that it could be 90s though.
cell phones could or could not exist at this point,
Where
but
do
they
cell
wouldn't
phones-
be widespread
No one
enough
has
for
a phone.
teenagers to have them.
A cell phone
Remember
is
if
never
a phone
shown.
ever
Yeah.
appeared.
I said they could exist, but like in the time where like most teenagers didn't have them anyways.
No one has cell phones.
Yeah.
It is never shown.
Yeah.
Okay. The manga started in 2006 and ended in 2014, and the anime was in 2012. So
well,
yeah, it
that
could just be
doesn't
any.
necessarily mean the time period of
Yeah,
the story. You know.
Yeah.
yeah. But so I honestly I think that's a good thing. Is just it could happen at any
No, I love
point from
it.
X
At
time to X
Any
time.
point also that those movies came out, because they have references in like posters to certain movies.
But it's all like retro sci-fi stuff in Tsubaki's room.
So I would say anywhere between like late 80s and early 2000s.
Yeah,
Sure, yeah.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing. It's like there's a timelessness to it, where it's not like this happened.
I won't
obviously
go with the
at this
cliche.
point.
and
I
be
couldn't
like,
say
yeah,
it's completely-
timeless.
I couldn't
in
say
the
it's
sense
completely
that it could
timeless because
happen
now
at
it's like
any range of time, from X date to Y date.
but yeah.
What else do you have to say? You have anything else?
I think that's about it. There's a lot of weird stuff.
There is a lot of weird stuff in the show that we didn't even cover.
How do you
There's
guys
literally
feel
a part
about?
where I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, go ahead.
But he's just like, Urabe gives him her panties.
Oh yeah, the panties.
Like that happens.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And
The
they don't
one where
post
she
them.
doesn't wear the panties all day.
It just, again, the show isn't like for that stuff. It's kind of tame, but it just talks about that stuff a lot.
Yeah.
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 How do you guys feel about the opening?
I thought it's standard. I didn't think it was like something I'd listen to, but it doesn't
I like
suck.
it.
Yeah. The opening's
nice.
acceptable.
I'd say it's like very generic, but not like
The ending
bad
is something
generic.
you cannot watch in public. The ED.
I gotta say, the ending song is amazing. I love it.
Oh yeah, I do love the song, but you can't watch that end sequence.
Yeah, they have a lot of drawings of
public.
Urabe.
It's
like,
very. It's all
yeah.
the girls.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
all
the
of them.
girls sleeping, and it's just
What else? The actual soundtrack, I was surprised. There's a song that usually plays when they're in the dream sequences, and also in a couple of their like romance scenes.
yeah.
I think the track in English is just Bizarre Dream, and it's very good. Like I've listened to it a lot since I watched the anime. It's an
There's like a
amazing
lot of
song.
like songs that like get reused, but they'll like do them in different styles. Like sometimes you'll get like here's the opening, but it's slower, or it'll be the dream theme, but it'll be remixed in some way.
Usually my metric for the soundtrack of something, because usually I don't care about actual like background music, is if I remember it or not. And I remembered this song that played in the dream sequences like well after I was watching it, and it's an amazing song.
Hmm.
It's very good at framing it as it's mysterious, duh. It's strange. It's kind of beautiful in its own way, and I don't know. It's good.
Good.
Yeah. I guess, do we want to get into ratings?
Yeah, that's all I had.
Yeah, I guess the last thing I'd have to say is just that I'm very glad with the lack of just the usual cliches, and it's a nice change of pace because I'm usually not big on romance anime for that reason, where it's just misunderstandings and all the usual whatnot. And just like definitely the focal point of this is just watching Tsubaki and Urube's relationship unfold and grow. Like that is definitely like the biggest part. All right, so you guys' ratings is
Um, I quite liked it. I'm iffy on episodes 10 and 11, and I think that sours all of it. I think it could have been very good if they framed it a little better. Made sure that Tsubaki was not shown as a bad person, because that's how I viewed it. But aside from that, I like the art, I like the story, I like the characters, I like the music. So it's overall, it's good. I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah,
next.
to me, this show is very strange. It's not the genre I particularly enjoy usually, but I liked all the characters. I liked the different stuff that went on, and a lot of it was very weird, but that was also kind of the point a lot of the time. It's very hard to recommend this show, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But at the same time, for as much as I enjoyed it, I'd give it a 6.5. I had fun with it.
Yeah.
I really enjoy this, which is rare for me. I usually end up not liking my own picks. But I really liked this. I had a great time. I really liked watching it. 8 out of 10.
Oh wow.
We have the whole spectrum of good scores.
Okie
Yeah.
dokie.
All right. Now the show.
Connor,
I don't know if
Watch
you
out.
guys are ready for this.
I'm never ready. Don't
What
worry.
are you about to drop on us?
This will be one of the weirdest recommendations I've done, because this show is actually popular. It's kind of incredibly famous, and it's really been picking up steam lately because it has a second season airing right now. We're gonna do Mob Psycho 100.
Really? Wow,
Really?
I would have never guessed this out of you.
I have
Because you've expressed displeasure with this show in One Punch in the past.
I've started the show. I've started the manga. I haven't gotten very far. I don't hate it. So far I've seen it's better than One Punch Man, and that's saying a lot coming from me.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
All right.
I'm
With
down. I'm willing to give it a go.
that, see ya.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.